Hello, Starshine. This is Smadar from Song of Stones, and for those of us who don't know me, I am a crystal whisperer, which means that I speak to stones and they speak to me. So I'm here today with a trio of just gorgeous Kambaba jasper stones. And they have a message for us for the spring equinox. And I don't have it yet, but I imagine that it's going to come through on or about the day of the equinox, which is March 20th, coming up in a few days. In the meantime, I wanted to talk a little bit about the spring equinox and the role crystals have played in my life during events like this, and how they can help you as well. The spring equinox is a very powerful time. Both the equinoxes and the solstices are very special times. And they have been for eons. The transition from season to season is I'm looking for another word but powerful, but I can't. That's the word that's coming to me. It's very powerful, and as a sensitive soul, and I imagine that most people that are here listening to this are also sensitive souls, empaths. We feel those transitions in our bodies. We feel them physically, emotionally, spiritually. And if we don't know that's what we're feeling, it can really throw us out of balance. Which is why it's really important to really get to know your body, to get to know the different sensations in your body when you're around other energies that are affecting your body, so that you know what's yours and what's not. And this is actually a really good time of year to start to really get to know those, get to know the way that our bodies respond to the earth and to others. Because what's happening now is it's magnified, it's intensified. So I can tell you, for me, the last few weeks, I've been feeling a lot of things. I've been feeling, it's been a bit of an emotional roller coaster. And I'm not going to say it's just because of the transition into spring, because there's other things happening. There's the full moon, there's the eclipse. And there's other things, globally that are happening. And all that plays a part. But what I've noticed in my own body is feelings of, sleeplessness. I've had a lot of sleepless nights, feelings of grief, feelings of disconnection, I would say. But then on the other side of that, I've also had really intense magical synchronicities. I'll give you an example. I had this vision of a river walk. And we went to see a house on the weekend, and the house was on a river. And the person who was showing us the house told us that people do river walks, and I'd never heard of that before. I never knew that people did that. And so that was just like one example of, you know, the synchronicities, and that's been happening often. And so what do we do to ease the uncomfortable stuff, the stuff that's not fun, and really take advantage and intensify the magic? And we do that by just, first of all, just being aware of what's happening. Just knowing what's going on around the earth. And this doesn't mean going and Googling, you know, planetary alignments and seasonal events, which you can do for sure. But what it means is getting still, because I think that's our go-to, you know. What's going on, and we go to Google and like, what's happening Google, which is fine, because, you know, those are also like educating ourselves on what's happening on the earth according to Google is also a good thing to do. We need to have awareness on all levels, but I suggest before you go and do that to sit with it a little bit and feel into what you think is happening. Let's say, you know, Google didn't exist, and you were on a desert island and nobody was around. What would you think was going on? And I'm not going to say that it's a simple process, because we have a lot of distractions, and it's really uncomfortable to sit with ourselves. I get that. But maybe we just do it for a minute. You know, we don't have to dedicate a whole chunk of time. We don't have to make it a big event. Just take little moments here and there and just sit with your body and say, what am I feeling? What am I feeling right now? And how is this connected to the earth or to other people? How is what I'm feeling connected to the planet? And it's really interesting what will come up when you just give yourself that moment. And by the way, if you want to do this with others, once a month we have a gathering, a live gathering, a guided journey into listening to your stones, which is very similar to what I'm suggesting you do for the message that the stone has for you. So if you want to get a little bit of experience, or if you want to deepen your practice, that's one way you can do it. Plus you get to hear a message from your crystal, which is always amazing. And plus, I just started offering to do a live personal reading for one person at our meetings. I don't know how long that's going to last. I know that I'm offering it right now. So here's the funny thing is, we were supposed to have that meeting this past Monday, and there was some tech issues, some glitches in getting the reminder message out to people. And I didn't know that. So it was funny. I got ready. I had my crystals. I gathered my crystals. I lit a candle. I said a blessing. I created this beautiful, loving, welcoming space for you guys. And then nobody came, and I thought, oh, what's happening? And then I realized that the reminder message never got sent out. I did try and send it out at the last minute, but I had no expectations that anybody was going to come. It was just too last minute. And the crazy thing is that happened to be the date of the anniversary of my father-in-law's passing, the second year. And there's a tradition in my culture to light a candle at a specific time. And that time coincided with our meeting. So because the meeting didn't happen, I was able to be there at the exact moment that I needed to be there to, to light the candle and be with my husband. And so I realized afterwards, I thought, okay, this was a universal orchestration, or my father-in-law pulling a few strings. But today, when I was writing the blog post for this week, I realized that I hadn't set a reminder, a replacement day for our Crystal Live, and I thought, oh, then I got inspired to do the Crystal Live on the Equinox, and I got so excited because I thought, what better day to do it than on the Equinox itself. And I don't have the timing yet, but if you're part of the community and you're subscribed to the newsletters, then you'll get the invitation and you'll get the reminder with the link. I fully trust that the reminder will go out this time. I know that Mercury was in retrograde and all that stuff, but I feel like it was much bigger than that, this whole thing. This whole orchestration. Anyways, so you're invited. If you're not part of the community, sign up, and I will make sure that the invitation goes out this time. And come in here, what your crystal has to say, what maybe you'll be the one chosen for a message. And maybe I'll share the message that comes through from these guys on that day as well. I'll share it too somewhere else, either in the newsletter or on the next blog post. So you won't miss that if you can't make it. So that's what I wanted to speak to you about. There's more that I had to say about the spring equinox. I wanted to talk a little bit about spring cleaning and clearing the body. And you know what, maybe I will mention it quickly right now because I don't want to keep you too long. But the cleansing your space and your body can also help with listening to your soul whispers. because sometimes there's just a lot of energetic noise that's happening around us and inside of us. And that can really distract us from what our soul is telling us. And if you don't know how to do it, I did a blog post last week about clearing, and the link will also be in this week's blog post. And I also help people with that as well. My husband and I think I might have mentioned this in last week's video, but I'll mention it again, just in case I'm sure not everybody heard it. My husband and I actually did a cleansing ceremony at the beginning of the year, and it was extremely powerful. I mean, the next day neither of us could move. We were zonked. And but we noticed that afterwards things started shifting in our family. And there's this, it can creep up subtly, but when you look back, it's no denying that there was a shift. And that's another reason for checking in with yourself, because if you don't check in, you won't realize these things. If I didn't check in about why the Crystal Live didn't happen, or if I didn't check in after the ceremony, the New Year's ceremony, I wouldn't have noticed the things. I would have just gone on with life and forgotten about it. So it's part of the process of learning about ourselves and tuning into our bodies, is also taking a few minutes sometimes to look back and say, what changed? Did anything change? It's actually a really, really beautiful thing to do for yourself. It's self-nurturing, it's self-care. And I know it's hard to really look at ourselves that deeply. But I promise you that what you'll find when you look that closely is something really beautiful. And you might have to go through the uncomfortable moments and the uncomfortable parts that you don't want to look at about yourself. But once you do, it's kind of like having a nightmare. That's probably not the best example. You're not a nightmare. But it's kind of like that, because when you're scared, you want to just put it away and forget about it and go on with your life and distract yourself from it. But if you take the time to look, to listen, to explore, you'll find out something really amazing. There's a gift, there's treasure there. And it's the same way when you look at yourself. It's uncomfortable at first, but once you do, as soon as you say the words, or as soon as you face the story or the whatever it is you're looking at, the fear loses power. Fear loses power in the light, and we need to shine light on ourselves. And that's where the crystals come in. They're not obviously the only way to support ourselves in self-exploration and in aligning and attuning to the body. Obviously, there's the earth has gifted us with so many beautiful things, But of course, I'm partial to the crystals, and I, as a sensitive soul, they've helped me in so many ways. So, of course, they're one of the ones I turn to first. Okay, so I think I'm gonna stop here because I don't want to take more of your time. But I send you lots and lots of love and many blessings for a beautiful sacred solstice. Equinox. And I hope you'll join us at the Crystal Live. And I'm excited to see what these crystals have to say for us and what gift they're offering to us. And please be in touch if you need a special crystal, or if you need help figuring out what crystal to get, or if you want me to help you with your cleanse. Many blessings and lots of love. See you next time.